Hello folks. Well, again, in my quest to find the most unusual quadcopters and show you what they are, I recently did a video on the tiny Proto X from Estes and Tower Hobbies. This is the pocket quad that used to be the smallest in the world. Anyway, in looking at all the quads, I saw this one from Radio Shack called a Quadro-bot.
While I was looking for high-intensity white LEDs for my Proto X and Radio Shack, they had none by the way, so I simply removed one from an LED flashlight. Well, I'm going to show you actually here where I switched the power taps to add the LED of this type, and so it stays all the time on now and with full brightness. You know, the red one I had before simply blended in with the four rear ones, so it was still not optimal to see at a distance, so I changed them out. So as you can see, it really helps with orientation. In fact, it was so bright I had to put a yellow lens over it and even put some black paint on that to dim it. But it's working pretty good for me now, as you can see. Well, many of you suggested in the comments of my last video on the Proto X about the transmitter, so I went ahead and ordered the Hubsan X4 overnight to try the transmitter on it, see if it'll actually work with this bird and if it'll flip too. So stay tuned for that.
I like everything, getting it out of the box. It's always the but there, nope, not there yet.
Right away, I figured they were somehow using one motor as some of the 3D quads are now using, and that intrigued me, so I went ahead and bought it for $29.95. But upon opening it, I find 4 geared motors like the rest, on a fairly strong EPP foam body though. So let's take a look at it working, and I'll tell you my comments at the end.
Yeah, not being able to move that's a bummer. I'm going to put a mark on somewhere here so I can see the front of this thing. Nowhere did I find out what the front is on this thing until I started looking. I thought this was the front. This is the back. Okay. There is no distinguishing colors on it, and I am going to, because this is wrong. Now you have to hold this transmitter like this with the spring tension and try to reach this, which forces you to fly with the thumb. I don't fly with the thumb. Okay, so I can't. You have to turn left to do this. You have to fly and turn right to do this. And at the same time do this, which is spring loaded. I'm taking the spring out right now. Okay, right here is the spring. You can see it in there. So I'm hoping that if I pull this off of here, like that, there's the spring. I've let go of it. As you can see, this is a lot less, so I can actually try to hold all this. Have to fly it like this because this is how you turn it. So you have to really have a hold of it to make this happen. I've taped this thing on here. Let's go ahead and turn that on. I just taped that on the front. My little nose nozzle here so I can see it. And turn this on. And let's see what happens. I've got to be able to push this to turn it. Run the throttle with this. Okay. This is going to be really strange. Up to arm it, down. needs trimmed. There is no trim. Probably this thing. So I need to push that so. It's a handful. Ooh. That is a handful. Sorry folks. I recommend that instead. $10 more.